coming back and like being around my older brother who like kind of taught me like the foundation of like rhythm and playing drums and all that. It's really like helped me out and kind of like regrounded me, if you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah, yeah.
so like I haven't worked a 9 to 5 at all since I've been here. I've just been like getting better at guitar, bro. He gave me a new guitar and like I've been learning from him, dude, and just really grounded. You know what I mean? And I'm like re-inspired since this trip, so it's been sick.
Hey, that's what's up. I'm
Yeah,
excited to hear that. Are you gonna incorporate that in your performances?
man. I was just talking to Della Rose about that. He was like, we should. It would be sick if we did live renditions. And I thought about that. The only thing is, dude, like I'm not like nasty at the guitar, bro. And I'm just like recently kind of getting okay. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
drum drums, I'm confident at, but it's hard to like sing my own lead vocal as I play drums. You know what I mean?
No, for
So
sure.
I'm with it, but I just want to group with Della Rose and like another person, and really get like tight and practice more before then. So I don't think we might do a few songs like that on the 30th, but not the whole set. You know what I'm saying? I've never played bass, and I don't think Della Rose is either. I mean, he does like everything, but like,
Nah, he's sick. He's sick with it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, he
yeah,
could play anything.
pretty much. But no, that's dope, man. So like, tell us about your hometown, bro. Like, where is Jimmy from?
So like, where I'm from is where I'm at right now, really. So it's the town is called Keysville, Virginia, and it's like probably nobody who listens to this is gonna have heard of it. It's like it's kind of central southwest Virginia, so it's called the heartland of Virginia, but it's like how do I describe it? I guess like geographically,
Yeah.
it's like the biggest city in Virginia is probably Roanoke or Richmond, and I'm 2 hours from both of those, and like the population there is about the same as Fort Myers, but the population in the whole county I live in is only 11,000. So like to
What?
put it in perspective, just the population in Fort Myers is 64,000 alone, not let alone like Lee County. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like super small town. I guess to describe it is like I wasn't a big fan of it growing up because it's like being a musician and whatnot, like, and that kind of being like I was just kind of brought into a family doing it, but my father wasn't from here and neither was my mom. So it's like I have like a super small family and we're into what we're into, and it's like most of the other families around here, they're big and they either like own farms or they own a big business, you know what I'm saying? So like
Word.
here you're either like you either go to school and you be an engineer, architect or something, or your pops or your family owns a farm, you're a farmer, or you get really good at playing ball and you become a professional at ball. Like there's not really music culture here, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
But like I appreciate it now though, cuz it's like especially going away and coming back, cuz I think it's like definitely given, I don't know, man. I just have an outlook on people that's like I feel like almost when you're in a big city, it's almost like I heard Joe Rogan say it in a podcast one time. It's almost like when you're in a space and it's so claustrophobic with people, you almost don't care like if a few people fall off the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like you're easily agitated when you're on the street. Like somebody cuts you off and it's just like fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like it happens all the time. But like being somewhere where it's like literally nothing going on. There's like nobody. Like there's not even a stoplight for like an hour from my house.
What?
It's
Whoa.
it's like it's like you know what I'm saying. I just like I love people, and I don't know how to describe it. It's just like I whoops my phone. It's really just like I don't know, man. I just appreciate it because I think it kind of bred me to just like uh I don't know, man. Just appreciate people and like care about people. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
like at the same time as I kind of hated growing up, where like I didn't have many friends and there's not many people like that I felt like I really genuinely connected with. At the same time, it's just like it's like you can really get solitude and it's like nature here. You know what I'm saying? And you can like really
Mhm.
hone into yourself. Like you know, it's
That's what's up.
yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool and not cool at the same time. Not good for opportunity and not good for if you're a musician or artist connecting with people,
Mhm.
but it's good like if you want to connect with nature and like you just want to be alone literally, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully that gives you like a good somewhat imagery of like what it is.
Nah, for real, cause like I was pretty much raised here all my life, you know, and the closest thing I know to that is Lehigh. Lehigh is very just like few houses, no lights, all stop signs, and
Yeah.
wildlife, and yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So it is cool. I like being in nature, and that is like a dope getaway from all the craziness that goes on here.
Right, man.
And you still stay connected to like the scene because of social media, right? Or you just
Yeah,
took a
bro,
break.
cuz it's like I mean as soon as I left I kind of took a break, but honestly, bro, what just happened is I got overwhelmed with a few things, and that's kind of what led me to come back. Cause like I had been like for 2 years, I saw my brother and my mom for 7 days out of
Damn.
like 7 days a year. You know what I'm saying? Cause like we don't have the like plane trips are expensive, and like I can't put that shit on my car.
Mhm.
But so many times, and I honestly, bro, I just got like living situations and whatnot. I kind of just I had to jet, bro, for my mental health.
Word.
So when at first I kind of like for a second I was like I'm just gonna peel off the internet for a minute, and then like the people who I'm really friends with I'll stay connected with, and then I talked to my friend Lily, and she was just like you don't even have to worry about like punching in the internet or any of that, cause like your real friends will be there. You know what I'm saying? And like
Exactly.
and plus, the other way I look at it is like I knew I'd be back because like that's where my friends are. You know what I'm saying? Like I talked to like one dude that I went to high school with who like runs the website for me, and he's like nasty on computers. He's like a great friend of mine. But that's it, dude. Other than that, since being here, I just lock in with my family, spend that time, and lock in with him, and then just like anticipate coming back and like kicking it with all my friends. You know what I'm saying? And like
Hell yeah.
just re getting inspired again.
That's so far. That's so
Yeah,
far
man.
being able to like yeah, take that vacation, take that trip somewhere else. You know.
Mm. And home.
Yeah. Yeah. Home.
Yeah, dude, but I truly consider like Southwest Florida my home too, cause like I moved down there when I had just turned 18, 2 months after I graduated out of high school, like on a limb, and since then I've changed so much, and it's like in positive ways I feel like, and it's like I just made friends, dude, and it's like it's not what I expected, but it's like so much better than what I could have expected coming there. You know what I'm saying? So it like
Mm-hmm.
it really is like my second home, and that's why like Southwest Florida is on my SoundCloud. Like that's where it says I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And that's where like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I rep, bro, because it's like I never got love here. I never really got love here, and it like wasn't cool to be an artist here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so it's like I love Florida. You know what I mean? Like it's sick.
Crazy thing, it was just like that here.
Yeah. Honestly, like 3 years ago, 3 almost 4 years ago, like
Mm-hmm.
there was no platform for artists. It was boring. It was only about like golfing, beach life, and you know,
Yeah,
How tan can you get?
yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah.
And
What
that's
was it
honestly what I
about
hope to hear.
Southwest Florida? Like, why did you come here out of all places?
So kind of like the way my mom raised me was like kind of had the mind state where like if you don't go to school, that's a bad look. You know what I'm saying? My bad.
Right.
No,
So
you're
I
good.
That's all
I
right.
was like, if you don't, my mind state was like, if I don't go to school, it's not gonna be a good look. So I kind of how I ended up there was because I was like this close to going to Full Sail to like further my
Uh
knowledge in like
huh.
music production, and then they were charging out the ass. So I was
Yeah.
like, I can't do that. Like, and then my mom was like, but you still got to go to school. So I kind of just kept talking about it as if like, let me get here and then I'm gonna work on it. And like literally, how I ended up exactly there
Right.
is because like I have a small family, but one of my aunt, the only aunt I have, was in like the armed forces, and she was stationed there, and she knew that I just really wanted to get out of here, and I wanted to get somewhere to like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get somewhere and at least try. So she let me stay with her for a few months, and that she happened to live like right near Florida Gulf Coast. And then I just from
Uh-huh.
there I just like fell in love with the area, and I had no desire to like move to Orlando or Miami or any of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the weird thing that I talked to my friend about, because I have a few friends who went there that I've met
Mhm.
since being there, and I feel like one of them said something to me, or I heard it online, and I was like, damn, maybe not. Like, they said that when you go to school for art, like, no matter what you want to do, when you want to, like, make a living for yourself in art, no matter what's in between, it always matters who works the hardest and what you do outside of school. Because, like, art class, you're in a classroom and everybody's learning the same shit, you know what I'm saying? So what
Mhm.
matters at the end of the day is like what you're doing with the tools after you get out the class. So and then I put together that I can like learn shit through YouTube. So I'm like,
Facts.
why am I even gonna go to school? Yeah, YouTube is like the holy grail, man.
So is that how you started producing?
I started producing because I just always like played drums, and then
Okay.
I got to this point where I'm like in middle school, and my
Mhm.
brother's 8 years older than me, and he was in like a hardcore rock band, but he stayed here, and I just was watching him, and then honestly that deterred me watching him just a bit, because like from being like alive, like from being in a, like, I guess the way I transitioned is really just like I went through this little thing where I stopped playing drums. I stopped playing snare drum and or any marching band stuff as much as I was at one point, because for some reason I was just like, I need to focus on one thing. And I don't know. I was just kind of lost, I guess. But then one day I was in school and they started giving us iPads in like 10th grade, and I
Mhm.
found GarageBand on the iPad, and then I found out I could play beats and I could record it. So that's kind of how I started. And then I took some money I saved and I bought a laptop because I knew that actually my mom helped me buy it. And my reasoning to get her to help me was, I'm going to need this for school. And I literally just got Logic Pro. And from then, I just was like a YouTube nerd. And I just like, like needed to learn, because like playing live instruments is one thing. Making music, it's way different once you're not doing it analog and it's like digital. Like I had to learn a lot
Mhm.
of things like I had no idea about. So that was kind of accident too. Like, you know what I mean? I guess it was kind of accident.
Yeah. I mean, you were like, why not, and tried it out.
Yeah, and it was just fun. It was like really fun and experimental.
Yeah. So, did your first beat sound like?
Really bad. I mean, all of my first beats for like a long time sounded really horrible. Like, I mean, I had the rhythm straight, and like the time in my head is always was always on.
Mhm.
But it took me a minute to like, I don't know. It's so many little things when you're making stuff on a computer or digitally that like I would listen to like Drake or I listen to somebody else, and I'm
Okay.
like, I can make my timing the exact same, but if I don't have the knowledge of like decibels and all that shit, it's gonna sound garbage. So that's why they sounded garbage. I just like didn't know the technicalities of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what
Yeah.
kind of helped you through that hurdle of like not just giving it up because it wasn't working out? Like, what made you push through and really like learn the shit?
Uh
Cause like I do that. I just start things and I'm like, this is not working out. I'm giving up. I can never get through like that hurdle.
yeah. Honestly, I think it's like solely off the love I have for it, and I feel like that's with anything. Cause I have done a
That's
lot
true.
of things, and then it's like as soon as I find a hurdle, I quit. But I think it's because I don't really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only thing. Like I definitely get discouraged, and I'd take like a few days or a few weeks of a break.
Uh-huh.
But it's like I couldn't escape from it. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like I
got you.
really can't.
You kept coming back to it.
Mhm.
That's dope. I actually wanted to ask you what made you think of June as a name.
Basically in elementary school, one day my dad came to school and he told everybody, he told my teacher that my name isn't Jason. He wants me to be called JR. And that's Junior, you know what I mean? And
Okay,
like,
I got
I
you.
think at the time when I came up with the name, I was just like I have a really old SoundCloud where I go by Junior and it has like a bunch of songs. And then somewhere like in 2017, I was like, I want to change my name because just like why not? Anybody can change their name anytime. I was like, I want to do
Literally.
something different. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with June, like it's short for Junior. And then I guess now people associate it with like the month or something. You know what I mean? Like, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool. It's to be interpreted however, I guess.
That's pretty cool too. Short for Junior. I like the name. What's up with that Oh Yeah July on Instagram?
I don't know. Like, I think that's pretty tight. Like, that's just a girl who like she doesn't speak the best English. I think she lives in Tokyo or Japan,
Uh-huh.
and she would contact me with like kind of broken English,
Uh-huh.
but I thought that was so cool. This was like a year ago, and I thought that
Okay.
was so cool. So I communicate back with her, even if I gotta translate stuff. And then I guess not long ago she changed her name to Aya July, and then she she liked something of mine, and I clicked it, and I was like, wow, I know who she is. She just changed her name, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know her personally, but
Yeah.
I just met her through the internet.
Oh yeah. I wanted to know if like she did it because of you or like if you did it because of her. I was like wondering who had it first. But also
Yeah,
just like that's pretty cool. I guess she was
it's
inspired.
it's weird the oh yeah thing. I can't before I even started like my first ever I have no I honestly I think it was like me being full of myself one day in high school cuz like the account I have now is the same account I had since like Instagram came out and I downloaded it. And for some
Really?
reason, yeah, it's weird. Me and my friend were talking about that not long ago, cause like I didn't come up with that like after I came up with June or anything. That like whole that like what is it like not a gamer tag but like you know what I'm saying, that whole ad thing. I
Yeah.
came that was like I just
Handle.
came up with that like yeah handle. I came up with that like a long ass time ago, like years ago. I
Even
don't
before
even
you were June? Or like that was with it?
even before that was this was like ninth or eighth grade. Like when I downloaded Instagram, I don't know how super weird. It's super weird because now I dig it, but at the time it was just so random. I think when I first started making songs, I just like saying like oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then like so when I made Instagram, I was just like I'm gonna incorporate this into my name. Like I don't know.
Makes sense, makes sense. So you grew up listening to music your whole life? Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Like any types or like did your parents used to just listen to like a specific genre and then you listened to that a lot and then discovered
Um
things on your own or how did it go?
my dad mainly listened to like classic rock, and then he listened to other stuff that never stuck with me. Like even at the time, like he just listened to like Metallica and like
Mhm.
some hardcore bands, but a lot of like classic rock. And then my mom listened to like classic rock and like Pink and like
Pink, so
um
dope.
Avril Lavigne and like who I used to have a major crush on. And then yeah, I don't know. Like I really just they always listen to music. Like we weren't in the car without listening to music. And then I think the first time I ever like got my own choice though, like I got a CD player, I
Uh-huh.
was listening to like Coldplay and Matchbox 20.
That's how it was with me too. Like my parents used to listen to well, my dad mostly. He used to listen to rock. But like we had moved over from Colombia and he would like only put on like the country like country radio station. So for the longest, I just listened to country, and I was like, this is it. But then
Yeah.
in school, I started kind of getting bullied because I didn't know like mainstream artists. Like people would ask me like, "Do you know who Usher is?" And I'm like, "I have no idea."
Uh,
So I was like, "Better go see who Usher is." So that's how I got
yeah.
introduced to like all the things that I listen to now. I was like, man, I could go find this stuff on myself, like on my
Yeah.
own.
My mom did used to listen to a lot of Usher too.
Oh shit,
Usher's
that's
awesome.
dope. And he's back.
I'm back.
Hey,
My
he's
bad.
back. It's all good, man.
What y'all talking about?
Um, music.
Word? Local? Mainstream?
No,
Underground?
like growing up, listen to music.
Oh, word. Word.
Yeah. Yeah.
True. I got a lot of my music from the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody did.
Yeah.
But we were just
Until-
talking about how we had got CD players, and that was like when you could really choose what you wanted to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope though. Like just listening to straight albums instead of trying to like.
That was the only way. Or
Yeah.
like, people would make mixtapes back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixtapes were fire.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Wayne. I only listen to Lil Wayne. I never really gave much anybody a chance. Like, especially in the South, that's kind of like, in the South, you listen to like Wayne, T.I., Jeezy, a little bit of Plies when he first came out, and that's like big ones. And you got the like Ball Greasy and shit like that. When you get really into like Deep South music, but like I never got into that. I was always into just like
I don't really
everything
know
really
much
like,
about it.
yeah, it was just like drill music. Drill music was before trap music.
Drill music?
Yeah, it's called drill
Yeah.
music. Yeah. Like Nuck If You Buck.
Oh god, that song.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you, like, what made you really want to start making your own music? Like, was it the music that you listened to, or like how you said your older brother made music?
Um. Shoot. Like, I guess I want to give you like not a super long answer. I
I'm
think it's
looking for like a
honest.
timeline.
I think it's really just a combination of what we were just talking about. How like every day my dad was blasting music in the house. We weren't getting in cars without having music playing. My dad had like a crib like every my dad mainly spent his money like before we stopped speaking on car shit, and the rest was music shit. And the house was just kind of packed with drum sets and guitars. And then like my brother was in marching band, and like I just started like really young. I just set all my shit up, and I'd be mimicking my brother. That's kind of how it started. It's just
Mm.
mimicking my brother on the drums. And then like in 4th grade, he took me to this marching band camp he was in, and I just like it just kind of came naturally, the rhythm and playing the drums. And then like fast forward, like I just played and I was really just mimicking stuff, not really creating much on my own. And then fast forward when I told you like I got that iPad put in my hands, once I discovered like you can start with zero, like with a blank canvas music wise,
Yeah.
and lay and create whatever you want, and it's digital. Like that kind of just I just kind of got really obsessed with that. And
Mhm.
like just my whole life I've been listening to music, so when I discovered it's like semi easy for me to like make my own, I'm just like I just really got obsessed with it cuz I'm like I really love this. So like if I can contribute my own music, you know what I'm saying? I can like it started with a lot of remixing and me remaking other people's stuff, and then it evolved into like I just want to start from zero and like make something that I like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing. Good to me, like for me, because I just started producing my own shit in December, and I haven't stopped since. and it's like the sonic landscape is visible to you now. You know, before it was just like, oh, this sounds really really good, but now you see, oh, this is why it sounds so good.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm. So like, what is your process when you make your beats? Because your beats sound very unique.
uh, really, everything's like it's all definitely like feeling driven, and I never like approach it with like how is this gonna sound to somebody else because like I've done that before, and then I'm just like I end up not making anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just every time like I get drawn to it, it's just like my process is basically, man, just like before recently when I really started making my own guitar samples, I would just browse guitar samples, and when I'd hear something that as soon as I hear it, I can like see what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
I just get on it and then I can't stop. But like I have to feel it first, you know what I mean? And then but once I can imagine where it could go, I can't like I just go until it gets as close to what I was imagining. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, I feel that.
Mhm.
When did you start making your own guitar samples?
Shoot, man, I dabbled with it over the years, but honestly, I since coming back here is when I really got into it, cause like I was always more drawn to drums and that side,
Mm-hmm.
but so it's really as of late, bro. Like Native Grow, almost
Okay.
all of that was my own guitar or my brother, and then this new stuff I'm working on now, man. But I love it so much, cause it's so much more me, and I get to pick what I want to what I want everything to sound like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's gonna
not
be
like
so
I'm
authentic.
fishing.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be so authentic.
Yeah, man.
You know, I was actually having a conversation with my brother the other day about how like music nowadays it's not the same, obviously, how it was in the 70s, but when you listen to a song from the 70s, you get this like nostalgic feeling, this feeling of just like, man, this is wholesome as fuck. You know, it's not so
Yeah.
much like, oh, I've heard this kind of riff before, like this pattern before. You know, it's everybody had their own like swagger with it.
Yeah, man.
I think that you like making your own samples, like your own instrument samples, and adding like your essence, you know what I mean, via these instruments, that's gonna make everything 10 times better for sure, bro. Like I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man. It's also hard to mimic that like nostalgic vibe that you get from old stuff because it's all recorded on analog, bro. You know, it's
Exactly.
hard to
Mhm.
get that analog recording nowadays on digital shit.
Exactly. Yeah, you would have to just mic everything how they used to, like get an amp, you know, connect guitar to the amp and then connect a microphone to that amp just to get that.
Yep.
Do you watch any like music inspired movies? Like we saw Bohemian Rhapsody the other day. Do you watch movies like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great one, dude. And like honestly, I watch less films and movies as I do documentaries and interviews. I watch a lot of
Mm,
documentaries.
okay. Okay. Do you have like a
Yeah.
top five? What were your favorite ones?
Man, I would say Jimi Hendrix live at Woodstock is probably my favorite. That's less a documentary and more a live performance,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very long and I really like that one. I can't really remember the titles of all these, but I've watched a lot over the years cuz like my family watched them too, and not
Mm-hmm.
all of them are on like musicians I like a lot.
Word.
Yeah, man, it's hard to remember names because a lot of these are also on YouTube. I don't have them on DVD, unfortunately.
True. They got a lot on Netflix too.
Oh, that you're
Yeah.
probably right about. I haven't tried that out. I don't have a Netflix subscription, but
I feel that. Do we got room on ours?
I don't know. It's my dad's.
Ah, true. We don't even have one.
Yeah, the only Netflix subscription I have is Valley's. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I went through a phase where I was watching like live concerts on Netflix. They had everything. Like I watched Coldplay. I actually watched the
I
Queen
remember
one.
that. Yeah.
Like they just had like full on concerts on there.
Yeah.
It was lit.
Yeah. Damn,
Yeah.
I remember
They even
that.
had Queen. Like that's old, but it
Yeah,
was on
live
there.
at Wembley, right? That's what
No,
it's
it
called.
was not one.
Which one was
It
it?
was some like a random concert. I don't know.
True. That's so fire,
They just
man.
threw it on there.
Like you don't really see those. You don't see like live performance sets. You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of dope because if you're in a quiet, dark room, you kind of feel like you're there
Yeah. Exactly.
for the low.
Exactly. How would you feel about us live streaming this concert?
Man, I love that. I think that'd be sick because the people who can't make it will essentially be there. You know.
Exactly.
True.
Yeah. Like coming out of an
It's out
area
there.
that isn't very music centered, or doesn't really have a platform for that. You have a great following.
Like, do you mean coming from Virginia or like coming out of Florida?
From Virginia. When did it start then?
Oh, I don't know. Could you ask it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
It was pretty packed.
Yeah.
Okay, first, do you think you have a large following?
Um,
Semi-large.
I would say yes. It could always get larger, but like
Mhm.
coming from like having nothing, I think
Mhm.
it's huge. You know what I mean? But I'm always open for it to be larger.
Mhm.
And like
And
even if I had one, even when I had like one person who I knew would go listen to a song when I put it out, that's huge to me. Cause like
yeah.
all this shit's real personal. So it's like that even one is really huge to me.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So
The
when
quest.
did it start growing to what it is now? Like when
Yeah.
did you notice like, oh shit, like I'm popping off right now?
Dude, I don't even think I'm popping off right now, like
True.
today, you know what I'm saying? But like I guess it's I mean I definitely think about when shit started gaining more traction,
Mhm.
and it was about a year after I moved there, because when I first moved there I was making music, but I wasn't even happy with the music I was making as soon as I moved there as much as I was when I was here, because I missed my family so much and I
Word.
was overwhelmed with a lot. So, in my opinion, it all sucked. And I ended up not even making a new account, not putting music out for like a year. And then I met this guy, Wakizashi. On his Instagram, he's the
Word.
Born Dead.
Yeah.
And he was like, in my opinion, he was like essential to me gaining any traction because I didn't really have any friends yet. And then I met him, and he had like he had a nice following. And then I just hit him up one day and I was like, yo, it would be cool to meet you. And he kind of just, he was like my first taste of like having a friend who understands like just loving music, you know what I'm saying? And like
Word.
not doing it for like monetary gain or for like to look a certain way. And that really
Mhm.
connected with me, and I just kind of watched how he did things.
Mhm.
And I guess it's like, I was just talking to somebody else, it's like you can have really good music, but if you don't have somebody promoting it and you don't have anybody listening that's going to show somebody else, it's only going to be good music to you essentially, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then you can have really not quality music, but if it's promoted like crazy, it's going to go crazy. So like when you have both, I think it kind of like bridges the gaps, and you like need both to work it
Exactly.
out. And I guess it's like when I met him, I didn't want to take photos, bro. I was like super self conscious of myself. Like, honestly, I was very insecure at the time, too. And I was just scared, bro. I'm like 18, living somewhere. I got no family, no friends. And I was kind of just scared. And he just kind of helped me be more comfortable. And I guess how I got people to begin listening is because I started studying Russ a lot, and I was like, I'm already making like 4 or 5 songs a week. I'm just gonna start putting one of these out once a week, and
Mm-hmm.
then how I'll get people to listen because I saw Waki doing it was I'll start becoming less self conscious. I'll have photos taken of myself, and I'll put them on Instagram, and every now and then I'll be like, hey, I just put a song out. It's in my bio. It would be sick if you go check it out. And I think that's all how it happened. It's just
Mm-hmm.
because social media, like I just was I really don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have anybody backing me, like putting money into promoting it. It's like I guess, and like the song was before anyone else. Like that's when I feel like I gained. Like when that shit hit 1,000, which was more than I'd ever got, I kind of started going nuts, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Wow, this is really cool." And it
Oh
was
yeah.
that song, and honestly, it's just organically, bro. It was just organically, cause like
It
if I
honestly
put
sounds
mu
like it.
if I put music on SoundCloud and I didn't post on Instagram, nobody would probably know because I had like 10 followers on SoundCloud. But
Mm-hmm.
it's I guess just a combination of the two helped me out.
Exactly. Word. Okay. Okay. Quick plug right there. Wakizashi shouts out to being a good person. That's so important, man. No, that's so important because like it goes an extra long way just to be a good person, to be a nice person to somebody, and like really extend a hand just because you want to see somebody succeed. You want to see people like you know you want to make the world a better place, and I think
Yeah,
that
man.
helps more than just like trying to help yourself.
100%, bro.
Are you do you like I don't want to be like are you religious, but are you religious? Do you have a religion?
Nah, man. Like the closest, I feel like I'm a spiritual person, but I wouldn't call myself religious, bro. Like the closest thing to religious, I guess, I would be is believing in like oneness, which is just like all of us are made of the same particles as the stars are. You know what I'm saying? We're all made of the same shit. So
Mm-hmm.
like if a god is real, a god, like I'd say all of us are pieces of God and we're all one. Like that's my train of thought on that, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't necessarily call myself religious. Like praying to me is affirmations and like telling myself things and asking of myself to do things so I can receive it, and like that's what I feel like all religions have in common, it's like you have to believe it and it happens, you know what I'm saying? It's in you. You just
Mm-hmm.
have to believe it. So like
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily attach myself to like there's a greater being. Like I'm just like I study science, you know what I mean, and that type of stuff, man. And I would say the closest thing for me is like oneness. If you guys have like heard of that or understand like what I was, does that explain kind of where I'm at with that?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much where we're at.
Pretty much.
Being a being someone who understands or is trying to understand oneness and like live that path. Have you ever dabbled in psychedelics to expand your reach?
I haven't done, you know what I'm saying, any psychedelics myself, but something like I firmly believe, just for me, is like if something in me one day comes up, you know what I'm saying, and it's like I'm driven to,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I would do it, you know what I'm saying. But kind of my headspace surrounding all that is like um I like smoking, you know what I'm saying? I like
Yeah.
smoking weed, and like that I dig that, and it's like as far as psychedelics goes, like this is just for me, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
my father did a lot of drugs and he did a lot of psychedelics. So like one thing me and my brother kind of agree on is we almost don't even believe it's necessary for
Mm-hmm.
us to tap into it, because I genuinely feel like it's already inside of me. I really do. Like as far as intuition goes and
Mm-hmm.
all that, and I feel like the closest thing for me is probably when I smoke, you know what I'm saying? But even when I'm not, I feel like, and even since I was little, just for me personally, it's like he already he did it, and that stuff carries. You know what I'm saying? And I just
Word.
like I really do believe like it's kind of already in me.
I
And the
feel
other
that.
thing is too like he I know this isn't everybody's route, but it kind of my he went overboard like not long ago. He went overboard, you know what I'm saying? And he's everybody's different, but he's not in a good place, and I don't know if we don't can't really know if it's the cause, you know what I mean? Cuz a lot of things go into the cause,
Yeah.
but knowing that it was incorporated in the fall. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think too much of anything can be bad. You know,
For sure.
so that's another thing. Just the combination of those two things, but mainly just the driven fact that I really don't think it's necessary for me. At least not now. Maybe one day I will, but right now I really don't. I really don't find it necessary for me.
Word. That's
It's
what's
pretty
up.
dope,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good perspective to have, man.
Honestly. And you can like I've even heard you can achieve that, that other ways like through
Mm-hmm.
meditation, literally
Mhm.
just breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you meditate often, or do you meditate at all?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I didn't for a while. Like I wasn't taught it. My family didn't meditate. But once I started I just wanted to learn more, and I dived into the internet, and like I just made a few friends, and then yeah, man, and it's helped me out a lot. Like I said, since I moved, I've changed so much in positive ways, and meditation is definitely like one of those ways. And like Camilla just said, controlled breathing alone, like
Mm-hmm.
recognizing your breath does so much. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, I love meditation, bro. And that's an everyday thing for me.
Yeah, what's your process with that?
It kind of varies. Like for a little bit, it was every morning for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the first thing I do, like I get some water or I use the bathroom, I get some water, and then I get in a quiet room and I just sit and I don't that's how I begin my day. And I still do that sometimes, but not all the time anymore. Sometimes now it's a little more random. Like I'm not on the schedule of I gotta do this every morning, but I definitely do it every day, and sometimes it's staggered throughout the day. I just take these moments, you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
think doing it every morning is definitely like a great thing because it's like it helps. It's almost like it really helped me it like was a determining factor of how my day was gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
Word. I feel that. You just become more mindful.
100%.
Word. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's dope. Dope. Do you watch like TV or anything?
I'm probably gonna sound like a weirdo, bro, but since I moved to Florida, I watch like no TV. Like, I
Word.
know you might be like, "Wow, this guy's weird," or "This is like, what do you do for fun?" But I just don't. I don't really entertain myself that much. Like, I don't know, man. I just like. I think I used to a lot, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't watch TV. Like, I like watching films because, like, certain films, obviously not everything because I get inspired. And then I like nonfiction stuff more than fiction, if you get what I'm saying.
Hell yeah. I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that.
So what do you do for fun?
Music.
Shoot, music, yeah, obviously, but I like, I don't know, man. Meditation, honestly, is something that I really enjoy, and that's fun to me. I do get a lot of enjoyment watching documentaries and movies because like
Mm-hmm.
films, even fiction films, like I get inspired from. Like not all of Bohemian Rhapsody was fact. Like that not all that shit was real, and a lot of like the theatrical stuff I really enjoyed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I like playing soccer. That's really fun. I don't run as much as I used to. I'm trying to get back into it, but I like running because that helps with everything.
Yeah.
And like Um, yeah, man. I like solitude too. That's like another thing. Like I don't think I would have been able to move there like I did if I didn't grow up how I did. Like when we separated from my pops, my mom worked night shift from like 5 at night until 7 in the morning, like Monday through Friday. And I just
Sheesh.
spent a shit ton of alone time for like up until I moved. And I think that kind of got me in the space where like I really like solitude. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
True.
It's not that I love people, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
at the same time, I like alone time because I feel like I'm in a constant process of figuring myself out, as maybe like everybody is. So
Mhm.
it's like I sometimes it can be too much, you know what I'm saying? Being around groups of people too much, you know what I mean? I just like
Mhm.
I don't know, I welcome solitude, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm. I feel that.
And
Yeah.
like I've never really been like a big party goer or anything like that. That may be it may make sense to you guys now, like why the first few times, and maybe even now when you see me like at events or functions or like I'm performing, I still get I'm like nervous. You know what I'm saying? Now it's more positive, but
Mhm.
like I'm almost out of my element when I go to like parties and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because I've never been a huge like. It may be from where I'm coming from, because like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of people here that I felt I truly connected with. So it might
Mhm.
still be that, but like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that makes sense to you guys now, like why I'm that way.
Nah, I mean
No.
you're also a Pisces, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm a
Yeah.
Pisces too, so I get it.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Oh,
That makes
word.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was just reading something like really cool about Pisces the other day. I've never been super huge into horoscopes, but Vale got me into them like a bit. I'm still not exactly sure where I stand, but I was reading some really cool stuff about Pisces. How it's like they're almost like a combination, a partial combination of all the others. Have you ever heard something along those
Oh.
lines?
Yeah, yeah,
Because you're the last one.
yeah. Pretty much, it's like yeah, you're a part of every sign. Every sign is like pieced into you. That's why we are so. Uh, I don't want to say susceptible, but sensitive. We're very sensitive to energies because we literally have been there. You know?
That makes a lot of sense. Like, and you saying that made like when I read what she sent me, it made a lot of sense. Just like what you just said.
The thing about that though is like you said, alone time is good, but we do like people. We do like being around people and like being in that energy because it also it feels familiar. You know, it can be intense, but it does feel familiar, and that's why it's like, all right, this time we'll go out and hang out and da 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 da. But like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like two sides of the same coin, kind of.
yeah, but yeah, man. Now the signs are cool. Um, I'm into like all the astro stuff. You know what I mean? Just like metaphysical, mystic, like secret
Yeah,
society stuff. Like I'm into all that.
yeah, man. I'm working on getting my knowledge up, and like I said, Valley really inspires me to do that. It's something I've never really dove into to learn until like as of late, until like a year ago, and even now, like like I'm really interested in like leveling up my knowledge on it because as much as I'm into like science, as like some people consider horoscopes and stuff to be far out, you know what I'm saying? But it's
Mm-hmm.
almost not. Like it like really directly relates to science in a way, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. We've watched this channel on YouTube. It's called Spirit Science, and they explain a lot about pretty much all that. Like they try to bridge the gap between spirituality and science.
It's on Netflix, you say?
No, it's on YouTube.
I'm gonna try to find it and maybe like I'll screenshot you it so I can watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
It.
anything, we'll send
Jenny,
you
when
the
is your
first
birthday?
video.
Oh, my birthday's February 26th.
Oh, word! Happy late birthday to you, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
Super late, bro.
Nah, you're good, man. It's cool. I share a birthday. You know who Sage the World is?
I don't know her, but I've seen her on the internet, and I think I know her from you guys because you shared something from of hers a while back.
Word, word. Well, we share the. I share the same birthday with her.
Oh, that's really tight.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty
You know what,
interesting.
And Erica
dude?
Baidu.
And
It
Erica
is
Badu.
that is super interesting, and like I don't if you guys remember, it's really weird. The dude who I told you is like the only cat I'm friends with here. He was like my friend since 10th grade. Me and him have the same birthday. It's really
What?
weird. Super weird. Same birthday, same age, all that shit.
Yeah,
And I was
same.
and I used to work at somebody at an Outback Steakhouse down there, and we had the same birthday too. I always think that's so cool in a weird way.
It
Right?
is.
I be finding like similarities, bro. Like with me and Sage. I don't really tell her that. I haven't told. Maybe she'll hear it now. But like when she be going through stuff, I be going through stuff. When she's having like her triumphant moments, same thing. It's interesting. It really is.
Yeah, it's cool too, cause I don't know, it's weird. My brother's birthday is exactly 2 months before mine. Mine's March 5th. His is January 5th. That's not super interesting, but it's like the same day, so I think that's like and cool in a way too.
Yeah, man. Everything happens for a reason.
100%, bro.
Oh yeah, culture.
Yeah. We
You
got a
trying to
couple
talk
things.
about the culture? That's a loaded question.
Kinda.
How you feel about the culture?
How do I feel about the culture, like music culture in general, or like Southwest Florida music culture?
Southwest Florida.
Man, um, from a general aspect, I think it's flourishing, and I think it was flourishing from my point of view. It was flourishing like from the moment I got there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I don't know, it was awesome from the moment I got there. From my perspective, the music culture that is present there, because like it's better than I even imagined of Orlando or Miami. Like I couldn't have imagined it because I'd never been around it, or
Word.
I'd never been in an environment even similar like here in Virginia. So, um, I think it's awesome, dude. Just in general, I think it's really cool, and it's like really awesome, and I think it's a positive thing for people in general, not just like whether you're an artist or not an artist, when you have people around you, aka like when a culture is present around you and it's accepted, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you aren't really an artist, at least you have the opportunity to discover that without being either way you're going to be judged. But when
Yeah.
there's at least a bit of culture where you're at, it's like even if that isn't your lane, even if it isn't what you want to do, like it just I don't know, man. It's just opportunity. Like you can discover it freely, and you have people present that
We'll accept it. Yeah.
are also doing the same and that will listen to you. Yeah, man. It's good for everybody.
Mm-hmm. But
But
is there a but?
um not really, man. Not to me. Like there's things about the culture there that may not be my favorite, but the thing is, it's like that's music culture in general. There's
Mm-hmm.
things about music culture in general that aren't my favorite in the music business.
Exactly.
So I'm not even trying to be over optimistic. Like I have spent a ton of time before dwelling on the things that I don't like, and it's just like I try to not even acknowledge it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna connect with who I'm like-minded with, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna like the things I like. And there's gonna be people who like other things and are interested in do other things. So
Exactly.
it's like I don't know, man. If there's any complaint I had, it would be like not oversaturation. I think the fact that it's super saturated with artists is a good thing. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even think there's really not even anything I could pull out of it. Like as a negative. I really don't
That's
even
good.
have anything bad to say.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's good to have a positive outlook. We're gonna ask everybody this question also. So if you guys
Word.
want to interview with us, please be prepared. But it's not to be political or anything really. It's mostly just to like understand where you know where everybody is, bro. Because we did the survey, and it's very interesting the responses we've been getting. Because overall everybody is saying the same thing, that there is a facade that we are a community. Like it's like it's an illusion. You know what I'm saying? Like yes, there's a community that is bustling with new activity, new creativity. Um, but when it comes to us actually being a community, it's not so much. And we've seen that. We've seen how like people like to, I'm gonna use this word again, basically politic just to like have a certain ideology of what is music, what is art, etc., etc., rather than just being like, hey, this is what we like, our opinion, that's it. Like
Yeah.
there's mostly just been like people are trying to make their standard the standard. You know,
Yeah.
and
When it really should be like everybody's standard blends among
exactly,
everybody,
exactly,
and it's not like animalistic, like it's this
exactly.
way or no way, it's my way or it's no way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I get where you're coming from, man. I'd like for you to elaborate more, but I think I get where you're coming from.
I could
Like
elaborate more. Yeah. Um, basically,
on the
like
community thing, like what people like it being a community, but at the same time not.
basically like okay, personally I think it's weird that the hippie circle, underviews, and curate and all these other groups that have popped up haven't really done a show together. Don't you think that's a little weird?
That is weird, bro. And it's like coming from somewhere where everything is super clicky, and it's like I'm in my pocket, and your pocket can't merge.
Mm-hmm.
I totally do think it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. It's segregation in a group form. It's like we're not segregating colors now. We're segregating
Interest,
in
yeah.
in posses. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, people have accused us of that, of being clicky, like in the beginning, like when we first started out, and it was mainly because we were promoting a lot of people from Naples. But it's like that's all. That's what we like, number one, and that's what we know right now. If we know someone from Myers, example given you, that we like, we're gonna put them on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man.
But I just think over time people needed to understand that. But still, it's like because we reached out anytime anybody new pops up on the scene, we reach out to them and we're just like, yo, let's work. I see you're trying to
Yeah,
do this, let's work. But
yeah, man.
it's it's always a different excuse every you know what I mean? Like of just I can't.
Dude, I'm not an advice giver, bro, but I wouldn't even worry about anybody coming at you like in a bitter way, like calling you guys. At the end of the day, there's clicky, you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
it's like, in my opinion, uh I don't think you guys are this way at all. But I think a lot of way clicks don't merge is because somebody from one of the groups feels threatened for whatever political reason, or they're envious for whatever political reason, and feel as though it's like a dude I study a lot, Gary Vee, says it's like
Hey,
the mindset that somebody else winning is taking from you is like kind of crazy. You know
it
what I
is.
mean? And
Yeah.
but a lot of people are like dwelling in that headspace that like if this man does this and he has a light shined on him, that takes away from me, which is completely false, I feel like.
Hmm.
And like
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you that I haven't I haven't thought about it per se, but when I think about how it feels, there even being these different groups where like it is kind of odd, you know, that we haven't had a collaborative show with everybody together.
Because that would be big.
That would be big, man. That would be big. And it is odd, man, because everybody does merge who they communicate with. So
Hmm.
like, you know, like you guys might repost the song on your page, and underviews repost the same song by the same artist. So does Curate. So does Blase Blase. You know. So like,
Exactly.
why not? Why are we? What is even the reason to not collaborate as one in an event? You know.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I'm 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 sure it has to do with names. You know what I mean? Like having your name on something. Like, because you know, not every time, but sometimes when we work with certain people, it's like, okay, what is this gonna be now? Like what is this? And it's like we're kind of taken aback by that. It's like, what you mean? You know, we can do our thing, and it'll be a collaboration, a partnership. We could do that. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be a new name, new LLC, new Instagram, such and such and such and such. Like, we're just not at that level right now to be doing all that.
Yeah, man.
But I don't know. It's we try to what's the word? I don't want to say abdicate, but I think it's abdicate. We try
Advocate?
ad abdicate. I forget.
Advocate?
It's not.
Be advocates.
We are advocates though. No, it's like
That's what I'm thinking. Obviously, like.
What are you
no.
saying?
Basically, just trying to make people happy, man. Like whatever floats your boat, really. Cause like we did get in the whole funk. I did personally. I'm not gonna lie. I got in the whole funk of like, man, like what the fuck? All these people are just starting the whole shit. That's pretty much just like our shit, and trying to just like dissect crowds and like pull whatever they can. When it's like, man, we're all pulling the same people. You know, like
Yeah.
when I talk to people about what we do, Curate comes up in conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure when Curate talks about people, our name comes up in conversation.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, shit, if that's the case, like, let's just get together. It could be a hippie circle Curate, or Curate hippie circle underviews, or underviews hippies, like Curate hippie circle. I don't give a shit who's first, who's last, whatever. Like, let's just do it. Because that will prove, like, who's really about the culture in my eyes. You know?
Yeah, man, and there doesn't need to be some label over it, you know? Like you don't
Exactly.
even have there doesn't even have to be like a label or like this guy or girl was in charge of this whole thing. Like
Exactly.
it's like I get exactly where you're coming from, dude. And that's facts. That's definitely facts. Like and I feel like that's how places like not one artist alone, but that's how cities really grow probably
Yeah.
is just from I don't even want to say I'm naive, but I want to say from I don't know. My opinion, I guess that's all it is would be like that's how that would definitely help grow any city is when there's these groups and they all merge, you know? Like fuck the disagreements, like those are what they are, but like what do we agree on and like what's the mutual
Exactly.
belief and like everybody is essentially like similar goals, big scheme, I feel like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just politicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But no, it would turn this whole area upside down. The reach would be phenomenal, and I always, every time we have a show, I always think about, all right, how is this, once we finish the show, once this show is over, like, how are we going to follow up? Not so much just another show, just how are we going to follow up being like, yo, that was dope, but this is why we did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's just been my whole thing.
Yeah. I definitely get that too, man.
So, like, enough about us.
Dude, you guys are sick, man.
Oh man, I appreciate that. What are your plans What are your plans for the year? Like, what are you trying to do for the year? Small term, long term.
Shoot, small term, bro. I'm gonna shoot. I got a real life shit, bro. I gotta survive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely about to like cop another 9 to 5. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Probably soon. And I'm trying to do other stuff, like figuring out how to make money, not just doing like regular 9 to 5s, like doing internet stuff. You know what I'm saying? Making
Yeah.
internet money off my phone. Maybe not doing stuff I'm super passionate about doing, but at least being able to spend less time like in an office or in a restaurant with like a suit on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's definitely a top priority for right now, is just surviving in general. uh and because like that's what I got, that's like a something we have to do, you know what I'm saying. And then goals of mine that that I'm also excited about short term is just I'm working on a project, bro, and I can't wait to share that. And um make some more music videos, bro, and really get out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just want to connect with Adonis, and I want to connect with somebody else too, bro. I want to find somebody else who's like how I'm passionate about making music videos. I mean, music. I want to find somebody who's like equally passionate about not just filming in general, but making films to represent music.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to, I'm really excited about that because I feel like I haven't found that person yet, but I'm excited that I want to find them because I know that means I will.
Mm-hmm.
And, um, shoot, bro, that's the max of my short term, bro. Eat healthier, man. Like I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat for years, but I want to be a vegetarian, bro. And I mean a vegan, man. And like I don't want milk, bro. I don't want dairy. I don't want any of that shit in my body. That's a short term goal because I feel like I could knock that out. Um, and did you ask me about long term too? I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, just long term for the year. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
because
long
I
term,
can't think
dude.
of 2 years from now.
Yeah, it's hard. Like uh I think like little steps kind of, I don't know, man. Like I have big goals in mind, and
Yeah.
it's like I know what those are. I feel like intuitively, like once I figured them out, and like all this little stuff is kind of adding up to the big things, you know. Like
Exactly.
I don't know what you guys imagine doing, you know what I'm saying. But I'm sure you imagine some things, you know what I'm saying, like positions to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like what I do, and I feel like this other stuff, yearly stuff, is like little steps to get there. But for the year, man, I just wanna I want to I want to connect with an engineer, man, that's like really talented that I can like really work with so that I can really just focus on producing and the music I'm writing and then recording it. I kind of want to get to a point where I can take my attention off being in charge of all the meticulous
Mm-hmm.
leveling and stuff. Like I want to find somebody who really like who I work with and it's organic and we get an understanding where it's just like fluent. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that'll happen cuz like I'm kind of getting over like being in charge of everything with that. And long term, bro, I really shoot, man. I want to have like 4 albums. I want to have like four albums done, man. This kind of goes back to the conversation we was having earlier about like listening to CDs and how like Bill said that's the only way you could do it at one time is like you get a CD, bro, and you listen to the whole thing, or you get a record and you can't click start at one song. Like I like singles, you know, for some
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and it's like this is obviously should be probably played alone, but I want to make a few bodies of work, man, that are like 40 minutes long a piece, that are just audio like movies. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a group of them this year where you click play and you listen for 40 minutes, man. If that's I know that's not exactly what's popping nowadays, but I feel like that's like a general thought. I feel like it is popping because just like I'm interested in it, there's people who are. So like I
Exactly.
really want to do that. You know what I mean? I really want to tap into that and just that's a big goal of mine this year that I've been thinking about is like making making quite a few just full length projects that I'm excited about. You know.
Hmm. What's the last like record you or project that you've heard back to back, like front to back?
Um, the last one I heard,
Yeah.
uh, Andres, man, and then
Or
the one before that was Milo Exilado by Coldplay. But that's because I listen
or
to that I listen to that often, man. Like I don't really go a week without listening to that to like almost all like 15 songs of that album. You know what I'm saying? So
word.
I, as far as where I'm at right now, though, and honestly where I've been at for years is like they're my favorite. Like I go through phases where I like different music and I listen to different stuff, you know. But as far as like basically through any mood, besides when I'm trying to like run a mile and I want to listen to some like real like you know like Andres out of time, like unless I
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing I can't really get from them is like a really um not courageous, but like say I want to attack something or I
Like
want to be in
motivated,
like an aggressive
confident.
headspace.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I do get confidence from them, but it's you know that's like the only pocket for me that they don't necessarily feel. They speak to me like their music is spoken to me like nothing else, bro. Like I remember the first. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but I listened to one of their songs when I was like 10 and it made me cry, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
just organically it made me cry and like that's like the energy that I've always gotten from it. Not like an emotional per se, but it just touches me, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel the shit in my heart and that's what I really love about their stuff.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. She loves Yellow by Coldplay.
That's a good one. A lot
That's
of people get married to that song.
What?
it.
Well, specifically, I like playing it on Guitar Hero.
True.
So much fun.
That's good. I've never played that shit on Guitar Hero. I didn't even know that existed
Dude,
on
you
Guitar
should. We'll take
Hero.
you to the arcade when you come.
Are you guys talking about Game Time?
No,
Nah,
they put one in Coastland Mall.
dude, I swear to God, bro. Like, nah. What's that place? Zoomers had one too. But I feel like there's like very limited Guitar Hero, like arcade consoles, and the same few have just been shifting around Florida for a minute. But they got one in our mall, and it's pretty dope.
Damn, Coastland Mall. That's in Naples, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's by us. I was obsessed with
Word.
the Guitar Hero, and like we would drive all the way to Miami to play it.
Yeah.
We literally would.
Yeah.
But they got one here, and I'm so excited. That's like the closest I can feel to how you guys would feel playing a show. I just feel like so boss.
She's really good at
I
That's
like
awesome though.
it.
Guitar Hero is sick for that.
It is.
Shit. So you were saying that you like science a lot. Like what interests you in science? You know, like biology, astronomy, physics.
Astronomy, man, and physics. I really like astronomy and physics. Uh, for like a few reasons. Like for one, relating to what we were talking about earlier, like my mom is a Christian, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like I grew up going to church every Sunday. But
Mm-hmm.
the reason I got out of that is because we didn't feel accepted. And like we felt like we were being judged because of like my father and stuff and because we were such a we just felt uncomfortable, bro.
Yeah.
So like my mom still doesn't go to this to church to this day. So after that period, I was young at the time. So my mind wasn't made up anyway and science was kind of the answer for me and it got me out of that like lost headspace like gaining knowledge of science because it's like going from a point where you don't know much about it besides like elementary school science middle school science and you're like at a young age you're kind of taught the things that you're taught when you go to church and through Christianity. Like I was conflicted, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I believed yet. So when I started getting more interested in science, it really answered a lot of these questions I felt I didn't have answers to, you know?
Hmm.
And like
Mm-hmm.
so that's one reason I like it. And then I really like astronomy, man, and like physics because almost borderline the same realm of reason. It's just like it really helps you gain understanding of a lot of shit. It's like without it, maybe you'll wonder a lot and it may not be
Mhm.
the most positive wonder. But
Yeah.
when you do gain the knowledge, it's like you still wonder about things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a different kind of thought. Like
Exactly. Like a
at
different
least
direction.
at least you have some of the pieces, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like kind of thinking like the whole oneness thing, like when
Mhm.
science kind of backs that up for me, and like that helps me not have resentment from for anybody, because like I said, my mom's a Christian. She wants to pray before every meal, and
Mhm.
instead of me spending my time trying to convince, you know what I'm saying, or resent or try to distance myself from anybody who is religious, I like feel like having that understanding of like the mutual agreement of basically all religions saying like it's in you. It's like I understand where she's coming from, and I understand, I guess, the security that comes with firmly believing something. So if that's what
Exactly.
she wants to believe, that's what she wants to believe, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I love science, bro, and like I love SpaceX. I fucking love Elon Musk, man. Like I listen to him speak a lot and I watch a lot about him, and like I'm interested in SpaceX. Do you guys know what SpaceX is?
A little bit.
Not too much.
It's I'm not gonna talk my ass off about it, but it's just like it's like at one time they weren't affiliated with NASA, but now they are, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is sick because everybody knows who NASA is.
Mhm.
SpaceX isn't ran by the government. It's like a independent company basically that was started by Elon Musk, you know,
Wow.
and they just recently uh made friends, I guess, in like a non-businessy term way to put it, like with NASA, which is a big deal because everybody knows NASA, and basically like he's just groundbreaking. Like Elon Musk is so smart, and like they're the guys. If you've seen the videos, like that shit that happened like a year or so ago, people were freaking out in LA because they thought it was a nuke because there was like purple lines in the sky.
Or
That
like,
was that was his rocket because it's so fucking powerful, and
Wow.
like
mm,
people didn't know it was happening, so they're like the world is ending, but it's really this guy's rocket and shit. And like he's the dude. Like if you guys have you guys seen the video of like, and if you haven't, just try to imagine it as I'm saying it, of like the the rockets that, and these are made by SpaceX. They're rockets, and they launch, and instead of shuttle, they don't land, they don't come down and land like a plane. Like they land straight up. Like they come back into the atmosphere, and it's like a reusable rocket. So
Wow.
instead of like previously, whenever like we couldn't explore space as much because you can't fucking repair a rocket. Like you spend hundreds of millions of dollars, and then when it's done, the shit's gone. And you
Yeah.
know, but like now you can reuse it, which is like a huge deal.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
And I just love the idea of exploring space because even further than thinking about what if I want to have kids one day, what if I want to, it's like besides worrying about it, even connects with like climate change and all that, but like even besides that shit, like waking up in the morning and thinking like about space for me is like how much bigger can it get, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
like that shit's like it's just kind of crazy to me. Talk about like what's the word, not fulfillment but purpose.
Yeah.
When I know I don't have the money and a lot of this shit costs a lot of money, but if I'm doing nothing else but like what I can, which is like repost a video that's of SpaceX, you know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
feel like I'm at least doing what I can, you know what I'm saying, for the continuance of like humanity, because we're fucking up the earth. So it's like either we cut this shit out and we like make a U-turn and we start repairing shit, but it's not so repairable, or we're like we are researching, and we're
Yeah.
finding other possibilities. It's like I just like the idea of expansion, bro, and learning. And I probably gave you like way too long of an answer, but this shit, like, I really love it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
it's
love
dope.
I love learning about it.
That's dope. Do you believe in aliens?
Shoot, bro. Hell, hell yeah, bro. I
Yeah,
mean, I think we could be aliens, and like
straight up.
just the one quick thing, like Elon said, that made a lot of sense to me is I really don't spend. I try not to spend too much time thinking about that shit, because if you think about it, if somebody who's not humans finds us, we haven't found them. You know what I'm saying? If they find us, that means they're smarter than us. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like we're at the end of their sword. We're either at the end of their sword to do negative to us or to do positive. So
Yeah.
that's another reason I like researching, because if they are real, if we aren't researching, bro, we're not gonna know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and if they find us, that means they were smarter than us. So it's like that shit made a lot of sense to me. But yeah, man, I definitely believe it. I guess aliens to me is just the idea that we're not the only we're not the only things in the universe. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I definitely don't think that we're the only things here in everything. You know?
Mm-hmm.
There was a, the CIA. I think it's the CIA. Yeah, the CIA. They release documents after a certain amount of like years, probably like 50 years.
Oh, that
Yeah.
whole documentary on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Shout out to
I don't know
Netflix.
if you've seen it, but there's a whole ass documentary about how aliens are real.
Yeah, pretty much. So check
Yeah.
that out. Like
They're
the
like, yeah, the
CIA.
government's just been,
Yeah, keeping it a secret. Basically,
yeah,
the CIA like releases they declassify. Is it declassify?
yeah.
They declassify documents after about 50 years,
Yeah.
and they recently declassified the existence of aliens.
Declassified meaning, what does
Like
that
the
mean? I'm sorry.
information was classified, whether aliens are real or not. Like we couldn't know anything.
Oh, so no, meaning like it wasn't accessible to the public.
Exactly.
Okay,
So now
gotcha.
these files are accessible. I think you could look them up on the internet,
Yeah,
and they state that aliens are real. There's been existence of aliens crash landing, like in the Roswell area. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
yeah, and shit, dude. I mean, that stuff makes. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Like, there's so many possibilities. It could be people that look just like us. It could be people. It could
True.
be other shit. There's so many ways to flip it and not
Mhm.
know. But
Exactly.
Exactly. It could
But
be some spiritual shit.
what kind of connected it for me was like they kind of mapped out the sightings of these aliens, and it's usually around where like nuclear test sites.
hmm,
Yeah, so
Mhm.
it's almost like saying these nuclear test sites have been kind of attracting them, whether it's because they're like, what the hell is this? Like,
I'm
you
not
know?
gonna lie. That shit scares the fuck out of me. Like, if
Mhm.
there's anything that scares me, like the biggest thing that scares me is that shit, bro. So like, what you just said about that is like, I don't know. That's a whole nother ballpark, but
Hmm.
that shit scares the fuck out of me. Like nuclear shit, it really scares me,
Yeah, bro.
because it's like, it's not. And I just learned something the other day that it's like, it's honestly scared me since I was young, because my brother told me about what happens. This was when I was super young. And then I just learned recently, though, it's like, it's not an answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason to deter, to like threaten it. And like, because it's like if that shit happens, it's like it's worse than any war. And like something
Mhm.
else crazy I learned is it's like in no way a good option. Cause
Yeah.
say we bomb North Korea, it doesn't fucking matter. Like a lot of people think that doesn't fucking matter because it's all the way over there. But the thing with like I just learned the other day, I watched like an hour long TED talk, is it fucks with everything. Like just how the dinosaurs, how they feel like the dinosaurs died. You guys believe in dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way they said the dinosaurs died is like not necessarily from something heated up the Earth's like the atmosphere above, right above the atmosphere, with gray smoke, whether it was a huge volcano, whether it was a giant meteor that hit and caused a huge fire. Either way, when when the smoke. It's I want to explain in short terms. Basically, just that's how they died is because clouds covered the sun and the earth couldn't be heated anymore. So when there's no sunlight on the earth, there's no homeostasis. There's no like like shit can't bloom. Like I
All
can't. I
cycles
don't.
stop.
All the cycles stop. There's no water, and that famine scares the fuck out of me. Like I know because there's places it's already going through it, but that's the biggest thing that scares me. And like that's what I learned is like it's gonna cause a famine because that shit's gonna cover up the outer layer of Earth. It's gonna block out the sun's light, and then there will be a huge famine no matter
Hmm.
where we launch that shit because
Hmm.
the nukes the shit we have now, and like say somebody makes a mistake, which they have with like a
Hmm.
button or like this AI shit, like
Right?
say
Hmm.
it's like anything could get in control of it, like there like I wish that I know wishing doesn't help shit, but I wish they would have stopped fucking with that shit altogether because it's literally just a mass destruction, like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
knowing that it's scary. It's
Yeah.
scary.
And the way that it's passed around in politics, how like politicians will use the word loosely, like oh, nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction, and like the fact that it
Yeah,
gets passed around, like funding gets passed around for certain countries to now have nuclear weapons just so they can quote unquote defend themselves.
yeah, and just so we can have nuclear deterrence, like so we
Yeah.
can threaten it, and it's like it's crazy because just the other week there was a bill passed by the United Nations, and like I I think I just learned that like every almost I think us and one other nation that's involved with United Nations were the only one to not pass the bill to end um what is it what's the word science, like basically the science of exploration in trying to evolve our nuclear weapons. Like the US and one other nation were the only ones who didn't pass the bill, and it's like why the fuck not, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like but yeah, man, that stuff is really scary to me. Like, I'm not, I'm not per se. I wouldn't say like it's just like like
Yeah.
that's not a natural death in my opinion. That shit's random, and it's like you know,
Exactly. Exactly. My brother, he always says like, if something were to pop off like in this country, you know, we wouldn't have jobs. Like entertainment would not be a thing. Music, no one would give a shit. Like art would not even it would exist, but like you
It's
know,
not the.
it ain't
yeah,
practical. It ain't practical, man.
It ain't a priority.
That's for
right.
sure. And
And
that's
honestly, I think nothing at that point. I think it's gonna borderline be nothing but being in the military is practical though,
yeah,
and or being a doctor or a nurse, or at
yeah.
that point be considered a
Farmer,
medic.
exactly. Farmer, engineers, like those are the people that really like be able to do something. You know.
Yeah, and at the same time, dude, it's hard for me to completely roll with. It's well, for one, I kind of like refuse to maneuver in the headspace
Hmm.
of even that might be why it scares me, what I'm about to say, but like I kind of refuse to even maneuver in like thinking that's a possibility, not even a possibility, but that it will happen
Hmm.
because I feel like even if we do, like I know my set of skills that I feel like I'm given and that I've practiced is like that even in presence of like major disaster and loss like a nuclear war would be, that poets and writers and musicians would still be needed because say that humanity does go on, who's going to be able to articulate in words and feeling what it was like, same with
Hmm.
photographers, you know what I'm saying? Say we
Hmm.
do live, say humanity does go on, like somebody needs to be here to articulate that shit,
Mhm.
I don't know. That might not make, like I said, man. I just try not to even dwell in the. I try not to welcome like I study it and I try to make myself as knowledgeable as I can, but I
Mhm.
try not to like I try not to even think of it being a possibility, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. But you brought up a good point about, like basically that type of cycle. Like if you think, when in history class, when they start teaching you about like how civilization started, and then how they became sophisticated, writings, arts, and stuff like that, and then war. You know what I mean? But then it's just
Yeah.
like after the war, it's like art again, sophistication, upgrades, evolution, da da da, war or famine. So
We
it
are in
is,
a cycle.
yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. Is that to say that it won't end or manifest in a different way? Because death can be, it can be expressed in different ways. It doesn't have to be a literal sense of physical loss. You know.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I think I agree with you. Not so much to uh, dwell on a negative possibility, but to actively work towards a new one, a new positive
100%.
one.
Even if all in your power is like little steps, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like even as long as you're doing the biggest little thing you can do, at
Mm-hmm.
least you're doing something. That's how my headspace works, man. Because if I just dwell on like the shit that I want to do but can't do, I'm just depressed. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're
Exactly.
doing the big little things, the biggest little things, it's like, you know, at least
Exactly.
trying.
Exactly. Hmm. How do you feel? Okay, let's go back to entertainment real quick and the media and things like that. Like, how do you feel about the media in terms of? I don't want to like direct you into like, oh, the media's fucked up, but like, what are your thoughts in terms of the media actually trying to give us a chance to make this positive future? Do you think that you get a lot of like, do you think you get a lot of positivity from entertainment and media nowadays?
Um, I think you get it, but the ratio to from positive to negative is like largely overweight on the negative,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not exactly sure their motives. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can spend a lifetime trying to figure out people who aren't me's motives, but for somebody to have control like these billionaires do on what gets like put on the news, even like say the music, like I guess you said entertainment, so that's movies, music, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that a lot of the most popular movies are movies like about people in war and in general, like James Bond, 007,
Mm-hmm.
like fucking
Even these
it's
Marvel movies are getting very like, uh, they're getting very dark. For them to be family movies, they're getting pretty dark.
they are, and you think like this may sound out there to you guys too, but like I'm not even that big a fan of like Marvel movies or superhero movies anymore
Mm-hmm.
because in my opinion they play into roles of stigmas that, like you asked me what my goals were. One long-term goal of mine is to contribute through music whatever way I can, breaking down social stigmas that I don't agree with, which is basically just any social stigma. And in my opinion, movies knowingly promote these stigmas. Like just one example, the idea of like Spider-Man or Batman plays into male masculinity stigma because we're saying like there's a bad guy and there's a good guy, and the good guy has to defeat the bad guy. And undeniably, how does he usually defeat him? He's either beating him up, shooting him, killing him, killing his family, and then he's depicted as a hero. You know what I'm saying? and it's like and then everybody worships them. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody shits on the bad guy where we're not. It's like, and that happens. I feel like in like every field. It's like I feel like they knowingly play into these stigmas because like they know people are watching it, and subconsciously it's like it's putting them in these boxes, and I'm victim to it too. You know what I'm saying? I try to recognize shit when I can and be conscious of it, but I'm not always. I just feel like
I feel
they
that.
definitely know what they're doing and what they're promoting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I feel that, bro. Like humans can be predictable, you know, especially with how far we've come in psychology, behavior psychology, basic marketing and advertising. Like we there are people that understand humans to an absolute T, you know? So
Oh
you're
yeah,
right.
man.
These stories, these story arcs really do start perpetuating those stigmas, you know? Like it's easy
Yeah.
to list someone's accomplishments or someone's actions, you know, and then label them good, bad. It's harder to
Right.
really get to know somebody and see where they come from, like what their origin is, why are they like this.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes sense. It's including me, I guess, to an extent. I try not to be this way, but it's easy to understand shit when you have labels and boxes. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it just plainly is. That's a people thing. It's easy to understand shit when you have a name on it.
That's why when we hear stuff about about certain people, you know, like we try not to let that be our basis of like how we treat the person, or even if their name comes up in other conversation, like we're not going to regurgitate what we've heard. It's usually when we had experiences with people, that's when we're like, all right, you know, we have room to talk about our experience, and then that's it. It's not so much of like
He said, she
he
said.
said, she said, so now he or she is a bad person, you know, because it's
Yeah,
very,
you guys,
you never know.
you form your own opinion.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's lazy when people don't want to form their own opinion. They just want to believe a source just because maybe that source, not even if the source was right, just because the source said what they agreed with. Now they just like have that opinion. They
Like
stick.
their experience.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, and some people literally just do that for lack of anything else to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
especially as far as media stuff goes. Like, I'm sure you guys doing what you do, you notice a lot of other media branches that literally just they feed on like stories. You know what I'm saying? And they
Mm-hmm.
share it. I'm just talking for that perspective, but I get what you're saying. Like, you guys think for yourself and you experience for yourself, and then you create your own opinions based off like your own experience, not somebody else's like word of mouth or like their lens. Like, you have your own lens.
Exactly. Otherwise, it's plagiarism. You know, it's
Right, dude.
dead ass
Pledge
plagiarism.
exactly, man.
Just
100%.
regurgitating. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Hmm. I kind of want to go the route of like, what would you, what advice would you like to give like someone who wants to start putting out music? It sounded kind of lame, but now it doesn't. Yeah, what's some advice you would give to someone who never put out music before? They probably have a large collection of something, but you know they wanna get out there, but they're nervous. What advice would you give them?
Fuck, man. Um, shit. I would say, think about. I'm speaking to somebody who's never made music before.
Well, that's maybe not confident.
In distributing, they never put it out. They
They're
probably do
not sure how
maybe.
people are
Okay.
gonna take
Yeah,
it. They don't know if people are gonna like it.
Oh,
yeah.
oh. I'll tell them exactly like what it took me a minute to get in my head, which is it's easy to look at what's popping, and it's also easy to look at the things people shit on, and that's what's not popping, and deem it as it's this black and white thing,
Hmm.
but I think the reality of music and any type of art. And the beauty of the internet, one of the beauties of it, if you like something and you enjoy something, when you put it on the internet, it's inevitable somebody else is gonna like it. So unless you have some kind of other background reason, to like withhold what you've made and keep it for yourself, um, like you you know, don't be discouraged because like and just know that if you enjoy this, somebody else is 100% gonna enjoy it, and if you feel it 100% else, somebody else is gonna feel it. And in my opinion, to keep that from the big thing that is the internet, which is basically everyone's backyard now, to keep that from them is almost like a disservice to yourself and your own potential opportunity, and it's also a disservice to like, like if you care about other people, it's almost a disservice to keep that from them because you could, no matter what you're talking about, you can help. People need to feel like they relate.
Exactly.
Whoever can connect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
man.
just need it as much.
hmm and it's unrealistic to think like, I don't think it's a depressing thought to think like a lot of us are alike. I think it's unrealistic to think that like I'm the only one who feels this.
Yeah.
That's never true.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe actually sharing it on the internet will help you understand, and it'll help you understand quick. You're not the only one.
Mhm. Mhm. Dude, good anecdote. Dark Times by Andre. Like he wrote that whole song, and when he brought me over to sing it, like he gave me the backstory, and bro, I was so like shocked and relieved at the same time because exactly what he was feeling was what I was feeling, you know?
Wow.
And it was just like,
Yeah.
bro, I didn't think anybody could feel like not could feel it, but like would understand how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling this way, you know? Because whenever I would like explain this to certain people, even in the slightest, they always had this sense of like, oh, but you guys didn't do anything. Like, what are you talking about? Like, do you think like you made all this? Like, very negative and angry. And it's like, all right, never mind. But with Andre in this song, it was just like, yo, like, it was that validation, you know?
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
Yeah, man. And that's sick. Like, and dude, in all honesty, like those other people, it's like everybody's gonna have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if somebody wants to tell you, you know, a
Yeah.
lot of the times people I know this is like a lot of your biggest haters or your biggest fans, but in my opinion, like in the first thing you said, a lot of the times people disguise like love and admiration, and I guess in a way sometimes it shouldn't be ever be envy. If you're showing love, it's not envy. It's like a lot of times though, people will disguise like really love and admiration with like disagreement and like I don't know what it is, but sometimes people are just scared to like tell you, for whatever reason. But I feel like whoever probably told you that probably really understands, bro. They're just not communicating it with you like they could.
That's real. That's
I don't
real.
know.
That's real.
Or maybe they couldn't. Maybe I don't understand, but I feel like I don't know why anybody would disagree with you on that, bro. Because that song's raw as fuck. I remember I was actually at Sai's house and we were trying to work on something before Andre came over and made that, and he had played me that beat, and I really liked it, but it spoke to me, but I didn't. Nothing came to my head that I could
Mhm.
compliment the beat.
Mhm.
So then when I came back the next day to Saya's or so, and he showed me that, and then later on he played me that song, like this was months ago. I begged him to send me that file, bro. I love that. That's my favorite song on the whole project.
Hey, yeah, for sure. Like
I
for
showed
sure.
my family loves it, and then when I showed my family, my brother instantly recognized your voice from Affection, and he was like, that dude's voice is ridiculous, and he liked Andre's part.
Hey, appreciate that.
Oh,
But no, that song is so deep, bro. It's just so deep. It's deep and like raw.
bro.
It's so raw and like.
I think it talks about one of the most important things is like realizing that, kind of like we were talking about how like things are depicted in good or bad. It's like you have to realize that you have both.
Exactly.
It's always both.
Yeah. And you know the beautiful thing about that song and like why I really like I like rap music, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
like that song was almost like a genre blend to me. Like one reason I like that song is like what Camilla just said. That's her interpretation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then it's like maybe Bill, your interpretation of it, it means something a little different. And then to me, maybe it means the first listen, it means one thing. Like I think that's the beauty of not necessarily. Actually, they said this in Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm almost exactly siphoning what he said, but it's because it made a lot of sense. That's like the beautiful thing about music, and like when you don't exactly say what your lyrics mean,
Mhm.
because it's like it's all interpreted. It's interpreted by the listener, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and that shit's awesome. Like that song is sick. That song's sick, especially like to me your hook means one thing to me, and then when I listen to his verses on both sides, it means a few different things.
Mhm.
And then the last part to me, I don't know, you can just tell, you can just really feel him in that song like I've never felt him in any other song before. Like it's a whole new light on Andre.
Mhm.
Like
Exactly.
Mhm.
it's really tight.
That's definitely another plus of it.
Mhm.
I'd love to hear like a 30-minute, 40-minute project from him. I think that would
Like
be
that,
sick.
right?
Yes, yes, or like just like Andre when he's tapping into that shit,
For
like that
real.
would be sick.
For real. Because him and Ryan are such a good duo. Just the way,
Yeah, man.
yeah, they complement each other very well.
I was in them. I was in their. I was in Ryan's studio one time with them, and you could
Mhm.
just tell. You could just tell, like, like in the funniest way. I felt like a third wheel, like in a funny way though, because you can just tell how much chemistry they have. You know.
That's how it is, man. Like that's how like Queen, for instance, like, that's how they were able to like be such. They were second to the Beatles. I don't know if you know that, but they were number two to the Beatles, and it's like
Wow.
it's because of they were family, straight up. You know,
Yeah, man.
even when there was adversity, even when like Freddie went solo, they were still family.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. And did you know I actually looked up some stuff because like I wasn't the biggest Queen fan, but my family loved them. Did you know one way the movie was misguided, like in regards of chemistry, is like uh Freddie didn't meet them like that. Like they actually, all of them except the bass player went to school together.
Yeah,
Okay, so you didn't know that word.
I know that
Yeah,
through
that's
Spotify. Spotify has like the bio, and like they said that they all went to school. Yeah.
word. Yeah, it's like real chemistry, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
That's one thing that's so important to me in art is like it's hard to collaborate with anybody when you don't at least have a bit of chemistry. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Who are some people out here that you would like to reach out and collab with that you haven't already?
I've collaborated with. I know this is obvious. I've collaborated with you, Bill, but not to the extent like I'd want to. You
Mhm.
know, and then other people. I really like Chris. I'd really like to collaborate with Chris Catlin because he does something that I couldn't like dream to do, which is like tap in. I feel like he organically taps into that Caribbean vibe, and that's
Word.
like world. You know, like
Mhm.
that's why like I like anything that like I feel like could resonate with anybody of any language, and I feel like probably any music could do that. I'm just particularly saying Chris Catlin because it's like I think that whole Caribbean vibe, you know, and like the islands is cool, and that's something I could never hope. I could never truly achieve that myself. So to collaborate with him would be sick. Um, Andre would be sick because in my opinion, he's like a straight up poet, and I haven't. We've worked on a few things, but we didn't get anything solid. Um, Let me think. Um, Probably I'm just basically speaking from a musically standpoint because I don't know everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of contradicting myself and saying I want to work with people I have chemistry with, but I'm naming people that
Oh,
I
I
don't really
got
know.
you.
Like
I
like
mean, no, it
I,
could be interpreted as in like who are some of your favorite artists out here too. You know?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
very much.
shoot. Favorite artist, man. Dom is definitely one of them because I can tell listening to his shit that he's like I really don't know anything about him as a person, but listening to his stuff, I can just tell that he's like organically and naturally talented. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's sick, and I'm excited about everything he's gonna everything all the music he has. Like fuck all the other shit. I'm excited about where he's about to go with his music sound,
Mm-hmm.
and then um Slight for sure because he's like a writer, and I really like the lyricism, man. And just writing in general. Like I feel like poetry is sick in
Mm-hmm.
articulating words, and I feel like he's really good at that. Um, there's this one girl. Man, what is her name? She performed at one of you guys' events, and then I saw her somewhere else. Man, she has short hair. She's I don't know. I hate to describe people by their looks. She has short hair, and she's smaller than me, and like how do I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe her.
Well, like,
Um,
what did she play? Did she have a guitar or she was just singing?
no, she was just singing, and her voice was like ridiculously soulful, and she's like all over the place. I've seen her perform quite a few times. Her
Huh.
voice is ridiculous.
I think you're talking about your friend from school.
If you say her name, I'd know it.
My friend from school. Yeah, specify.
She like she does like semi big shows or like a jazzy.
Yeah, jazzy,
It's
You
real
like a
talking about
jazzy.
different
Kabi?
copy.
Are you talking about Kabi?
What does she look like, bro?
She's skinny. She's short. She's a blonde. She plays the flute though.
Oh, never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
She
Kabi
would
plays
have
flute.
definitely played the flute. I just remember she had short hair.
Not her, bro.
Dang.
Not her.
And we're so good with names and faces.
You're talking about
Bianca,
Roxette.
Bianca, Bianca,
Oh,
bro. I just
B.
remembered.
Okay, 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 okay.
Oh, Bianca J. Russell?
Okay, okay. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
super hot. True.
I mean, her pipes are ridiculous, and like I don't know, you
True.
could just and her voice is nuts, and
Yeah,
The scatting is so
she is
fire.
really good.
yeah, man, and shoot, I really like the band that you guys also had on.
Casafellas
Uh,
or
yeah,
Rocks.
I don't even know their name, but I have their music saved on my shit. It's in this Coldplay that I have like a lot of alternative rock saved in.
What's the song?
Dude, I don't even fucking know, bro.
True.
I don't
Is it
even
a?
know.
Is it just
I
three
found
dudes?
no. The lead singer is a woman, and
That's
she's like,
Rocks.
yeah. I
Rocks
think
Revolt.
they're really sick because, like, I got turned on to them because they perform. I remember I did the same show, and like they come out and do shows where like they're they're the only ones with that genre of music. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not like others are even close. Like they're like in particularly in their very own lane. And I like listening to them because, in my opinion, there's nobody else in the city that I really like have on a playlist that sound like them.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to think of others I listen to on like a regular basis. Shoot, man. I feel like that basically exceeds it. Like, there's a few people who have like a single out that I'll
Mm-hmm.
listen to. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. That's about all I can think of as far as like my favorites go.
That's a decent list.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Chris Callen one. That would be dope. Chris, if you're listening to this, link up with Jim, please.
We've been talking about it, dude. We
Yeah.
haven't talked in like a week about it because I'm just kind of cycling through shit I'm working on, and I
Yeah.
want to send him something. Like even if I could produce a beat for him, man, that'd be sick. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't even mention like my favorite that you guys already know of though are like Lily and Della Rose.
Mm-hmm.
They're like they're in my top two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm glad they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Like
be
not
on the show
literal
then.
two, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're my favorites, but that's like an obvious one.
So we did the survey and we asked this question like it was like what are some topics you would like to see on public radio? And we got this answer. It was like I wish the radio conducted in depth interviews with artists to give the audience a better understanding of what the artist went through as a person to create what they've made.
That's really sick. Whoever put that is that's a good one.
Right? So I kind of want me to ask you, like, maybe not like what song means the most to you, but like a very dear song to you. Like, if it helped you through that certain situation.
Could I give you two? Because the first one that comes to mind is like nobody would know about. But is that cool if I give you two?
Yeah, of course.
The first one would be this song that I don't have out yet. It's called. I actually like just made it the other day, but it's like all my other stuff. I kind of go about I've kind of gone about projects in the way of I'm gonna make all these songs and then I'll come up with how they link together and the titles at the end. But like
Mm-hmm.
this new project, I like don't want to. I didn't want to do that. Like I want the shit to be more tight. So I came up with the concept and the titles first, and then since I have that now, every time I go to make music, I just keep that shit in mind and I try to tap into something. And the other day, I tapped into something real important to me. Uh, like I wrote this down like a month ago that I wanted to be on this project. The song's called Dysmorphia, and it's like really really personal in the way of like and it's important to me because like I used to have this really bad issue around like high school. Like I dealt with it since I was little, I think, just because of like upbringing and like just I think my dad was having issues. So as a kid, you're gonna automatically think this is my fault, like that he dipped, you know what I'm saying, or that he's making mistakes. You automatically put it on yourself instead of understanding, hey, this individual has his own problems. So I had like body dysmorphia and anorexia. I know now that's what it developed from, just a slew of like self insecurity issues because of um my pops. And I'll send you guys when we get off of here. I'll send you guys a song because I basically just finished it the other day. But it means a lot to me because I'm like in detail wording in a in a positive way of me dealing with it. It's like, in my opinion, more more directly, like I try to make shit where people can listen to it and it's low key about me, but you can think about it like introspectively and maybe it can be about you. Like sometimes I'll write songs about girls, but it'll really be about me having an issue, or it'll be about like a fucking animal, or it'll be about my mom. But this one, I'm like literally just talking about my issue, and instead of like glorifying it and saying like, hey, I got this issue, so like I'm gonna go fucking do some shit so I can be even more skinny, or like I'm gonna go get super fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like I'm just trying to like spread awareness and like I'm directly explaining myself. So that shit means a lot to me, but it's not out yet. But I'm gonna send it to you guys. It's called Dysmorphia, and that's the first one that came to mind because like it's kind of still in my mind now. That shit's it's really important to me. And then I guess another song that like that I kind of needed to make um would be like the affirmation, because when I made that I was in the opposite headspace of what I was saying. Like the first lines like um when I like uh da 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 da. Today you're worth it is what I
Mm-hmm.
say. I was literally thinking the opposite when I wrote it. Like I was thinking, I don't want to fucking get up tomorrow. Like I don't want to be here tomorrow. Like like I was in a funkus. I was in a super funk. So like writing that song kind of meant a lot to me because it's like I try to remind myself to always give myself affirmations. And like this one, me not wanting to get up that day had nothing to do with the other problem I was just talking about. That's just in general. And like the whole dysmorphia shit, now I'm talking about in complete hindsight. Like at the time, I couldn't write about it because I was running from it. But now that I'm like away from it and I can recognize what it was, I can write on it. And like the affirmation was just important because like I need it. I needed to write it, and it
Mhm.
helped me. Literally writing it, it sounds like I'm not trying to I'm not trying to be weird, but like I was affirming it to myself as I was writing it. You know what I'm
Hell yeah.
saying?
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'd say those two really meant a lot. And thank you for that question.
Yeah, of
Thank you,
course.
man. Cause like that's our favorite.
Yeah, dude, I can't stop listening to that one.
The
The
affirmation.
affirmation.
Yeah.
That song also means a lot to me because like since I started recording shit digitally and I moved away, me and my brother, like I said, I saw him 7 days for 365 days like twice, so we
Mhm.
could never we I haven't been able to make music with him, and that lead guitar, like the whole
Yeah.
all the little fills are my brother, and we recorded it through his tube amp, like into
Wow.
my microphone, and we didn't just do it through it. That song's special to me because like I made that with him too, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And yeah, man. Like I said, it's a favorite. You could feel that. You could feel that from the other side. Just how much it meant to you. You know.
Thank you, man. I
Yeah.
recorded that song at Cappy's too, like that song that the one that made it on the project is the original, but I almost went and did that whole project through Cappy.
Mhm.
But we went there. That's the first song I told him I want to try to record. It was my first time recording directly with him,
Mhm.
and I didn't like how it came out. Like we spent a long time on it, and I explained it to him. He understands, but I just think it took away from some of the rawness. But that's just
Mhm.
like a
Mm-hmm.
funny backstory on that. Is I
Mhm.
recorded that song like 2 times.
Well, I can tell a lot of that from your music. Like, that's what's really important to you. That it sounds like, that it just sounds raw. That
Yeah.
it's not like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it sounds perfect. Like, no, it sounds like,
You.
literally.
Are you
that's
familiar?
how. What's up, man?
No, go ahead.
That's actually what he told me when like I first went to him, and like, cause I had been wanting to mess with him. And then he just told me like, I'm not exactly sure what you want to do with me, cause like it's like he said that a lot of people come to him and they kind of want a sound to be developed, and like he has to find it. But he said he almost felt like he was doing me a injustice, which I don't agree with, cause I feel like if I do start working with him, I just want to take a bit of a break from releasing music to anybody, and I just want us to make a shit ton of stuff together and not worry
Exactly.
about what we're gonna do with it, so we could like get in a pocket. Like I don't think
Exactly.
that's all it would take for me and him. I think is just start making shit together and don't worry about what we're gonna do. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just like figure each other out. You know what I mean?
That's good advice for a lot of people out here, man. Because everybody's always thinking like, "Oh man, when's the next hit? When's the next drop?" And da 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 da. It's like, no, make
Yeah,
music. Just make music.
yeah, man. That's one thing sometimes I wish I could tap into is like the way of just like making bops. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Word.
and I don't know, but it's like I said at the beginning of the convo. It's like once I begin to think about what somebody else is gonna think, and it become critical over me, that's when I like stop right then,
Mhm.
and like I just sit and I end up not doing anything, because
Yeah.
then I start thinking about a million things, bro. Because everybody's gonna think a million things about your shit.
Exactly. Exactly. It's an artist thing, and it's also enhanced by just being a Pisces.
Dude, it's so
Straight up.
sick that I learned you're a Pisces today. That's tight, man.
Yeah, man.
The way I'm trying to come at this show is like I heard Chris Martin say, who like sings for Coldplay. He was just like, because this is how I look at music, man. Like I love performing music because like I started in marching band, and it's like I want to come into this show, uh, with the mindset that this might be everybody in the crowd's last music show they ever attend. So like I need to perform accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no
Mhm.
point in being nervous, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
negative nervous.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
Yeah,
Treat
that is
every
good.
show like it's gonna be the last one.
Real shit, because it
That's
might
smart.
be. It might be their first and it might be their last. But if it's their last, it's like, how would you want that to be?
Mhm.
I'm gonna remind myself that multiple times the day of.
Mhm. Exactly. That's good advice, bro. That's good advice for anybody out here that's trying to quote unquote make it. You know, if you're really trying to have your name written in stone, you got to put the work in. You know, you got to
Yeah,
make
man.
that chisel yourself and write it yourself.
100%, bro.
You know, me and Dan, we hang out a lot and we talk a lot. Sometimes we feel like we're too opinionated. Like maybe we care too much. Like maybe the shit's not that serious.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't really talk about how we feel that often. Because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, we're like, you know, it's opinions. Like, who's gonna care, you know? But like, we've been
yeah,
seeing that people really do care about what we have to say.
yeah, man, and especially you guys' opinions because your opinions are positive, you know, and like I'm saying, it's like even you guys it's like I don't know how to say it. It's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. For one, I don't think you can ever feel too much. Like I feel like I've thought that too, and then I feel like me thinking that just personally, I feel like it's the result of me paying too much attention to shit on the internet that I
Mhm.
really either don't agree with or that I truly don't care about. Just likes and comments are telling me to care about it, but I really don't. And then that gets me in the that train of thought gets me in the headspace of well, maybe I just like care too much. Like that's just for me personally. I really don't think you can care too much. Like, you know, I don't know.
Mhm.
Well, we really appreciate you saying that to us.
Seriously, bro.
You don't know this because it was kind of happened before you got here, but when we really first started this, we were anonymous because Dan didn't want anybody to know it was him. And he literally started by going on SoundCloud, like he made the Hippie Circle SoundCloud or whatever, and he would just go to like songs and just like comment circle approved.
Mhm.
See that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You guys are so that shit goes I don't know, man. I'm just excited for you guys. Like just like
Thank
we
you.
were talking
Same.
about when you were I'm not trying to like keep you guys for long, but like just like we were just talking about earlier with us talking about all these cliques and groups, just what you just said shows how like selfless Bill is. And I'm sure like both of you, just the fact that you like the beginning of this was you not even wanting your name on it, you know, but like it being more about
The art.
like I don't
The
even know how
art
to
in the
word it.
area. Yeah.
That's fire, dude.
Thank
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that. You know,
you. Yeah.
we're like, why are we really doing this? What is this really for? And it goes back to conversations that we've had of like, you know, art can save the world. You know,
Yeah.
and like this is what we really want to push, like people being able to do art and not feel like they're being, you know, not supported, not appreciated, feeling
Yeah. Like
like that
judged.
they yeah, like that they can feel that it's worth it, not for like just monetary reasons, but because it is connecting, like it's so much bigger than us.
Mhm.
It's connecting
Yeah.
and like creating rifts in the world and thoughts and emotions that are just gonna impact like tenfold.
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.